Parliament resumes sitting tomorrow in what will be a crunch week for the Gillard Government. The Climate Change Minister's putting the final touches to the carbon tax, which is expected to pass the lower house this week. But the fate of the legislation to change the Migration Act to allow the Malaysia Solution is far from assured. Political correspondent Tom Eagleton reports.
Greg Combay, for one, is raring to go.
OK, I assume you're pretty ready.
The Climate Change Minister says after a decade of debate, push on climate change is coming to shove.
I've been dealing with the public policy issue now for quite a period of time, and I'd like to get it done, I have to say.
And it will get done when it hits the lower house tomorrow and Wednesday. The only question now being whether avowed carbon pricing supporter Malcolm Turnbull will cross the floor to vote for it too.
And either you think I'm changing my mind a lot or you've got a short-term memory problem. I've said for some time that I'll be voting with the opposition.
Less certain is the fate of the government's bill to change the Migration Act, set to be debated in the House on Thursday. It's got no chance of passing the Senate, but the government's looking for a victory in the lower house. To win one, it needs support from the crossbenchers. Key WA crossbencher Tony Crook isn't tipping his hand just yet.
I can understand why the government's looking to do this. I can also understand why the opposition is pushing the amendment.
A loss would be historic. It's been 80 years since a government lost a vote in the lower house. It then cost Conservative Prime Minister Stanley Bruce his seat and his coalition government power. Tony Crook says his priority is stopping the boats.
I ran a campaign trying to get a better deal for Western Australia, and I'll sit on the crossbench and try and do that as well as I can.
For all the legislative uncertainty, the opposition's continuing to fuel leadership instability within the government. A stage-managed meeting of shadow cabinet was the perfect platform.
It's interesting that the Labor Party couldn't actually invite the cameras into a meeting of the cabinet at the moment because of the palpable hostility between the Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister.
And it's rather unseemly to watch the Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister competing for airtime over issues as serious as the young boy in Bali.
That followed reports the Prime Minister's spoken directly to the 14-year-old held in jail in Bali for drug possession. Kevin Rudd had made the initial contact with the boy's family last week. Climate Change Minister's office has also been in touch with the family who live in his electorate.
For them to know that at the highest level of our government this support and encouragement is being offered, I think is very important for them.
But the opposition found another opening to attack the government today. The Economist Intelligence Unit surveyed 50 countries' broadband plans and found Australia's was the most expensive per head. The report also found Australia's plan ran contrary to the market-driven options favoured by European nations.
This is the telecommunications version of Cuba. You know, Cuba's the last communist state. I stand corrected. There's North Korea too. You see, Stephen Connery doesn't even have a North Korea to his Cuba. He's the one and only.
And so the stage is set for the new parliamentary session. Tom Eagleton, Late Line.